YouTubers, this is me again, and I'm going to be doing your reading for the next week. And here's Pi, he's joining in this week. But anyway, let's get going for this next week's reading. Okay, this coming week is another 5-card reading with the Hanged Man in the first position, representing the overarching theme of this week. And the star representing the beginning of the week. It's right side up, as is the Hanged Man. The third card in this reading is the Six of Swords, right side up, representing the middle of your week. And the end of your week going in the weekend is going to be the Devil, reversed. And then the fifth card is going to be the Page of Cups, representing the underlying theme. It's going to represent, as usual, the unexpected help that's going to be coming along. It's going to help you get through this week. Okay, so the overarching theme for this week is going to be the Hanged Man. And the thing about this card is that there's not a lot of movement, but he doesn't seem to be uncomfortable. He's not being hung by his neck, he's being hung by his feet. It's kind of like a meditative state that he's in. He's got the halo around his head, as far as inspiration, fire in the head, getting inspiration from this. He doesn't look like he's in a very stressful situation. He's just hanging around. Forgive me for the pen. But he's right where he's supposed to be. There's not a lot of moving forward, not moving backward. He's just where he is right now. And that sounds like what this week is going to be about, is that learning that sometimes you're not going to make a lot of movement forward, but you're still going to be right where you're supposed to be. Okay. For the beginning of the week, we have the star with the right side up. And what really strikes me from this card is the way the water is being poured out onto the grass to feed the plants, and with the other hand poured back into the pool. Another interpretation of this card sometimes is the misuse of resources. And one other interesting item on this card is that if you notice in the background, there's plants and animals flourishing in the side where she's pouring out the water, but there's a desert, or it looks like a desert to me. There's nothing really growing over there in the background. There's a red mountain full of not a lot of plant life in the background, as opposed to the tree on the other side. So things are flourishing on one side, but things are not flourishing on the other. So you're making some progress in I don't know, internally, but you're not really making any physical progress. So this is about you being hopeful about the future. Maybe you'll make some physical progress in the future, but right now you're just hanging out and you're not really making too much physical progress right now. And you're not too worried about it, though. It's a pretty hopeful card. You still got your stars aligned and all that, but you're not making any physical progress. You're making a lot of progress maybe internally, but you're not really making any external progress. Okay. And for the middle of your week, you've got another right side up card. It's going to be the Six of Swords, and I get the feeling you're not necessarily the people in the boat that are huddled down, that are covering themselves up and being moved. You're the one that's moving them, or an external force is moving a part of you into safer waters, because you're moving from choppy waters to smooth lake waters. So right now, maybe you're making some external moves right now, as opposed to what was happening in the star, where you weren't making much external progress. You're now moving from one place to the other. Maybe you were gathering your resources for this move, or keeping it on the down low, and then now you've made your move, and you've made an external move. So externally, you were keeping yourself hidden in ways. You're keeping yourself hopeful, or you're putting on a brave face for the world. and now you're leaving that situation, which really wasn't a great situation, or maybe it was just a chaotic situation, and you're moving into more stable waters, and you're bringing all your beliefs and your swords with you. Okay, and for the end of the week into the weekend, you've got the Devil reversed, and as opposed to the rest of your cards, which were mostly external cards, this is moving to just you internally. Maybe you've already moved physically, but you haven't moved internally. Maybe you've broken free from the chains that have held you physically, but you're still chained to your past, or the temptation there, or the seeming safety of where you were, or just the chaos that you were used to. I know in some places you can get used to a lot, and it may have been something you were used to, but it was not a good situation, and you left it physically. But you're now in a different situation that you're not used to, and you're feeling maybe you should have not left. You're feeling that at this point, and maybe you're tempted to go back. So you're dealing with lots of internal temptations, second thoughts, and doubts that don't necessarily have a place here, but you're still feeling them right now, and maybe internally. It's not anyone else putting doubts in your mind, it's yourself putting doubts in your own mind. And the underlying, or the unexpected help for this card is, I usually don't necessarily see a person usually in the cards, but this looks like a person coming to you. A Page of Cups, who's already taken the first steps out of a situation, maybe learning to deal with their emotions in a more healthy way. There's a lot of water in these cards, so there's a lot of emotion tied to your situation right now, and maybe you've got not necessarily a teacher, but just someone who's also on the path and maybe a little ahead of you, taking their first steps as well into a healthier environment. And this isn't a romantic situation that you're dealing with, but it's maybe a young person or someone at your own age who is also getting out of their situation and finding a place in this new one, and they're going to be helping you out. There's a toad, there's a fish. Okay. Anyway, the fish actually brings to mind folklore. Actually, it brings to mind lots of folklore where a talking fish, you save the fish, and it decides to give you 3 wishes or something of that nature. So it's kind of like you help save them, they help save you, that kind of thing. Where you're each other's, you get to lean on each other in this difficult time. So that's what this is saying to me, is that you're gonna find a person or something, or someone. I'm really leaning towards a someone at this point. That is going to help you get through what you're dealing with right now, this emotional time for you that you're going to be dealing with. Well, that is your reading for this next week. Hope to see you again, and have a good week.